There's a quote by Warren Buffett that says that until you can manage your emotions, don't expect to manage your money. Anytime I am afraid to open my bank or my credit card, I immediately know that there's something wrong. Is that relatable, or am I just a weird one here? Hi everyone, my name is Truth and I love to read and I like to share the knowledge. And so you're welcome to this channel. Today I'm going to talk about how your emotions affect your money habits, or what others describe as a psychology of spending. If you have ever wondered why you can't stick to your budget, or why you want to splurge after a tough day, or you just can't stick to your money goals, then today we are going to talk about how our emotions shape our financial choices. And if that sounds relatable to you, then you are the right place and this video is for you. So let's get started. One of my favorite authors is called Morgan Housel, author of The Psychology of Money, and he has a second book called Same as Ever, which I have recommended to many people here on this channel and on my personal life. And I've listened to his podcast, but every episode that he has released, I've listened to it many times, and he talks about the art of spending money. He says that usually we hear people talk about the science of spending money, that is investing, budgeting and all of that, but people usually don't sit down and talk about the art. Why do people spend on the things they spend on? Why do they spend on a particular thing? Are there things that influence us? Is it people? Is it our emotions? What exactly causes us to spend the way we spend? And so I'm going to get into that, and I'm going to be sharing a few tips from his book and his podcast. I recommend you go check him out, but let's get into what I'm going to share with you today. We all know that money isn't just about numbers. It's deeply personal and often tied to our emotions. In fact, our spending habits can reveal a lot about our inner emotional world. So let's explore some emotional triggers and how they affect our financial behavior. The first I'm going to talk about is social influence or comparison, or what the more technical people will say, social aspirational spending. Social influence is a big emotional trigger. With social media, we see people or our favorite celebs wearing nice clothes and buying big cars and going to vacations to other places, and all of a sudden there's this emotional attachment that makes us also want to have those things, or also want to be in those places they've been to or they are going. One of the episodes of Warren Buffett, he talks about the fact that when we see other people doing other things, we also, it's just an emotional attachment that we want to do it, especially with our friends. Or social media is now such a very close circle, like we all live in such a close-knit world that anything we see other people doing, we also want to do something. He talks about the fact that vacations or traveling around the world used to be something rich people used to do, but now everyone wants to travel and have vacation. Investing in stocks and all of that used to be something rich people do, but now everyone out there, because of social media and the social influence, we are now all attached to certain things emotionally that we also want to do what we see other people doing. There's a quote I heard that says that people don't communicate on social media, they perform for each other. All of us post our best pictures on Instagram, and sometimes we even go to certain places to take pictures because it's a popular place. Everyone will recognize that, me too, I have been there before. And so we spend money going to these places, or not just to even please ourselves or to make ourselves happy, so that other people can see that we are also in those places, to get the validation. And while you are doing that, everything requires money, and so you are spending money in those things. And so when we find ourselves being influenced by people out there, whether it's our friends, whether it's social media, we need to sit down and stop to ponder and ask ourselves, whose opinion am I trying to influence, and do those people even care? Second point I'm going to discuss is stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety are powerful emotions, and they can affect our spending habits or how we spend our money. Mostly when we are stressed, or when we are anxious, or when we are tired, we usually just start buying things. There are other people like that. They just buy things to comfort themselves. Okay, I was scrolling through social media and I'm already tired and I've been working hard and I saw this comfortable couch. Why don't I buy it? It's my money. And there's something they call retail therapy. So retail therapy is, like I'm emotionally exhausted. Why don't I just pick my phone and scroll online and buy the things I see after I'm tired, after I work hard and I'm anxious? And these things affect our spending habits. So sometimes you don't intend to buy certain things, and because you are tired and you are emotional, you just start thinking of, oh, I've been working hard anyway, and why do I even work hard to give my money for other people to spend? Let me use it to buy the way I want. And these things are emotional triggers that makes us buy things. Sometimes we don't intend to buy them from the beginning. It's just as a result of our emotions, our stress, our anxiety that causes us to buy these things. And usually when you buy those things, it gives you like a sense of relief and even happiness, a temporary happiness at the moment, but it usually leads to overspending, which at the end will still stress you financially because you have spent money you didn't intend to spend. And so our emotions, our stress and anxiety can trigger us emotionally to spend things we didn't want to spend. So have you ever bought something only to regret later? That is part of stress spending or emotional spending. And so one way to do is to find healthier habits to release your stress, like exercising, meditating, going for a walk instead of picking your Amazon, Walmart, all those apps that you use for spending or for shopping. Instead of going to those apps to shop, find something that will help you release that stress or that anxiety instead of spending it on money. The next point we are going to talk about is happiness and celebration. On the flip side, positive emotions and excitement can also cause us to spend than we intended to spend. And so sometimes it's you got a promotion, it's your birthday, it's your graduation, and of course, it calls for a celebration and you need to spend money to celebrate, and that's not bad. But sometimes we overspend the things like the money we're supposed to spend, or we over exaggerate those excitement that we go beyond our budget or beyond the money we intended to spend. And so that happiness causes us emotionally to just want to spend more and buy more things because after all you achieved it. And it's not bad to celebrate, it's just that you have to be careful not to overdo it because of the state of your emotions at that moment or at that point. So setting a budget for celebrations can help you keep in check, and it's good because if I want to celebrate my birthday and I say, okay, I'm putting 10k to celebrate my birthday, if I celebrate or if I spend 10 within that 10k, I know that I'm enjoying my birthday. But if you intended to, let's say, spend 10k and you end up spending 15k or 20k, then you are now in deep trouble, and you wouldn't even attach that birthday celebration with happiness because you need to go back and pay that debt or find money to pay, which also causes another emotional stress. And so setting budgets and ensuring you stick to budgets, especially in a moment of excitement and positive emotions, can help you manage your emotions and manage your money habits. And so remember, it's the experiences and not the price tag that counts. It's not about buying the expensive thing that makes you remember that it was my birthday or it was a promotion. It's the experience. You can buy little things and still be happy about it. The next point I want to discuss with you is past emotional baggages. I didn't know that where we were brought up or how we were brought up can affect our finances that much until I read The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And he talks about the fact that sometimes when somebody was brought up in poverty, they either become people who save too much because they are scared to go back to where they came from, or there are people who spend too much, so they buy the latest things, they buy the designer bags, the designer clothes, the designer shoes, the cars, just to prove to their inner self that I'm no longer the place I was. I'm no longer the kid that was brought up in poverty. I have worked hard and I've made it, so I need to spend it. So there are usually two different groups that come out of these things, and it affects how we spend our money. Because if your past financial life or how you were brought up affects the way you spend, you need to be able to sit down and cross-check and reflect. Why do I do this? Who am I trying to prove myself to? The fact that you were brought out of poverty doesn't mean you should buy anything that comes across your face. Or the fact that, we can also look at the fact that you were brought up of poverty doesn't mean you should oversave, that you don't even spend your money in the first place. So take time to reflect on your financial past. Write down your financial story. How were you brought up? How can I manage this? Just look at certain patterns. Do I usually buy things for validation that, oh, of course, this is now me. So do I buy these things for validation, or do I just buy them because they need to be bought? So what can we do about all of these emotional triggers and emotional baggages? I think I've already given solutions to each of them, but I just want to run through a few things. And the first tip I'll talk about is to track your finances. I noticed that tracking my finances for the past few years has helped me a lot. A few times I just sit there and go through my financial tracker app, and I'm like, what exactly have I been spending my money on? Oh, you spend too much money on takeout. Okay, maybe we need to cut that out. You spend too much money on shoes. Maybe we need to cut down. Because why do you have 100 shoes when you wear just 2 of them? Why? Anyways, yeah, so you spend too much money on clothes. As ladies, we always say, I don't have anything to wear. All the time, we don't have anything to wear. But you know your closet is filled with clothes. So track your finances, and it will help you know where your money is going, and that can help you to know what to do next. Another thing is at least to try to practice minimalism. I watch a lot of people who are trying to be minimalist, and you see how little they live by. And so you don't need 100 shoes, you just need maybe 5 pairs of shoes for 5 major areas of your life, and you are good to go. You don't need a big house filled with 10 rooms when you can live in just 1 or 2 of those bedrooms. You don't need those clothes. You don't need to buy Gucci or whatever, all those brand names. You don't need to buy them to feel validated. So try and practice minimalism. Another important one, which I think I've already touched on, is budget setting. It's very important. If at the end of the month they pay you money, you know that I'm spending this amount of money on this, I'm spending this amount of money on that. At least you know that when you spend money enjoying life or just buying things because you want to buy them, it was already part of your budget. So it's not an emotional trigger that is causing you to spend those money on enjoyment or takeout or vacationing and all of those things. The final point I want to discuss here is practice mindful spending. I was listening to a podcast where someone said anytime they want to buy something beyond a certain amount, they leave it in their shopping cart for about 24 hours. And when they come back the next day and they see, do I really need to buy it? Because sometimes you are in a certain emotional state at the moment, and all of a sudden you think you need something, or you're just scrolling through social media and you saw someone using a certain type of phone case or something, you're like, okay, I need to buy it, and immediately you go to Amazon to shop for it. No, what you need to do is to practice mindful spending. Leave the things and go sleep over it and see if the next day you still need it or not. Or, just ask yourself, do I really need to buy this? Is this a need? Is it a want? Is it really I who want it, or is just someone else giving me pressure? Or I've seen someone using it and all of a sudden I think it will look good on me, so I'm buying it, not just because I need it. So practice mindful spending. And lastly, I can also say seek a support group. It's good to have friends who are good in managing their money, and you can always ask them for advice. Or how do you do it? Help me to also do it, because let's say I work all the time but I don't have any saving. In case of an emergency, there's nothing to fall back on. I just need to go beg for somebody, and it's not all the time people will always support you financially, right? So seek a support group, practice mindful spending. Let me read this thing to you to end this episode. Remember, understanding the emotions behind your money habits is a powerful step towards financial wellness. By becoming more aware of these emotional triggers, you can make better choices and build a healthier relationship with money. Thanks for watching this video so far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'm going to leave other videos I know will be helpful to you here that you can check them out. See you in the next one. Bye.